Hello everyone, I'm the Saxy Gamer. Today we're here for something quite exciting because Civilization 6 has been announced to be released on the Nintendo Switch coming out on November 16th. So in this video I'm just going to talk about some of the things that we know about the port and some of the things that I hope to see in the port, so without further ado, let's get into things. So what we know so far, Firaxis released on their Civilization 6 official website, they released a little article about about Civilization 6 coming out on the Nintendo Switch. Interestingly enough, it has been taken down by the time I'm recording this video, so it's right now it's about 3 p.m. EST, and I believe that the article came out sometime this morning. I'm not exactly sure because I was in class, so probably somewhere around like 10 or 11 in the morning, and by the time I had checked whenever I was eating lunch around noon, the article was taken down, so I'm not sure exactly what happened. Maybe they didn't intend to announce it just yet, or maybe they announced it and then Nintendo said, wait, don't do that yet because we want to announce that at our next Nintendo Direct. And if I had to put money on it, I would bet that it was Nintendo probably intervening and saying wait until Nintendo Direct. But it has been announced nonetheless, so we can confirm that it is definitely coming out. So what do we know so far? For one, we know that it is presumably the full game. So Civilization 6 is available on iOS for like your iPad, and that version is the full version of the game. So I would assume that the Switch version is going to be more the same, because a Switch is probably relatively comparable to an iPad in terms of gaming power, just, you know, raw processing power. So I would presume that we have the full game that will be coming. In the article, they did say that it will include the quote-unquote latest updates, so I'm not exactly sure exactly what that means. Does that mean Rise and Fall? Does that mean just like what was the last patch that came out? Was it the Spring 2018 patch or the March 2018 patch? Whatever the last patch was, I would assume that that's probably what that means, is that it is going to be the version of the game that has that latest patch. It will also include the Australia, the Poland, the Macedon, and the Persia DLCs for free, so those are all of the leaders that come with each of those 4 DLCs, and the scenarios as well, so that is very nice that they are including that in for free. They haven't said anything about the other leaders, so Indonesia, Jayavarman, Nubia, I don't remember exactly who else was all added in those little DLC packs, but they haven't said anything with regards to those leaders, so I don't know if like they'll be out but you just have to buy them, or if they're not going to be in the Switch version, or what the deal is with that. So that is yet to be seen. And the other thing that we know is that it is released on November 16th, which is not actually very far away. That's quite a nice surprise, and it's coming out quite soon. So let's go ahead and talk about what I hope to see in the Switch version of the game. So the first thing I'd like to talk about with what I hope to see is in regards to the pricing. And I know that my thoughts on pricing are probably not at all what the actual pricing is going to be, but I'm going to be hopeful nonetheless. So for the pricing, I really hope that if it's just the base game, like just the base game, no Rise and Fall, and, you know, maybe those few DLC leaders, I really hope that they make the pricing at $40. Just because Civ 6 by this point is almost 2 years old, and $60 for, you know, a 2-year-old game, I mean, people will charge $60 for that, like, no problem. Just look at Skyrim, right? Whenever that came out on Switch, I believe that was way older than 2 years old, and they still charge some ridiculous amount of money for that, so that's why I don't believe that my pricing wishes are going to be met. But if it is just the base game, then I really hope that they do put it at $40, because I think that's a very fair price. And then they could, you know, release Rise and Fall as well as a DLC and have that be a paid DLC, which, you know, I would consider that to be perfectly fine. And the reason I say $40 as opposed to $60 is because if you buy the game on PC, then you're going to be able to run it, you know, at traditional, like, PC quality with high frame rates, better graphics, like faster load times, faster time in between turns, so you're generally going to have a much better time on PC, but I would imagine that the Switch version is probably going to be dumbed down a little bit, and that's kind of why I hope to see the $40 price tag. Since I know that they are almost inevitably going to put it at $60, I think it'd be really nice if they included the rest of the DLC leaders in there, so like the Indonesia, the Nubia, all of those little leader packs that were free with the deluxe edition of the game. I think if they make it $60, I would really like to see those leaders added in. I said maybe Rise and Fall here too, but I doubt that they would do $60 for all the DLC and Rise and Fall. That would be a bit much. But if that was the case, I would be very happy to see that, and I would be quite glad, like pleasantly surprised that they would do that. So that's what I'm hoping for in regards to the content to pricing things. One of the other big things that I have here is stable performance throughout a game, so whenever, like in any game of Civ 6, the performance at the start of a game and the performance at the end of the game is very, very different. The game is so much more demanding, like towards the later stages of the game, and depending on what map size you're playing with, how many AI you have in the game, so I really, really hope that they're able to get it to be stable throughout the entire game. You know, I would hope that they can keep above 30 FPS at all times, and that, you know, at the end of the game, your time in between turns isn't going to take, like, you know, like 4 minutes to just process all of the moves that the AI are taking, or anything just terrible like that. I admittedly have never played Civ 6 on iOS, so I have no idea what the performance is like there, just because I don't own an iPad, and I'm not going to go out and buy an iPad just to play Civ 6 on it. So I don't know what the performance is like on there, but I really hope that the performance is very stable on the Switch, because the Switch is not really the most powerful of gaming systems, so just having that stable performance, being able to maintain 30 FPS at all times, and not having too much time in between turns, I think is something that's very critical towards making the Civ 6 version of the game very good. One of the other big things here is smooth controls. That is something else I'm worried about, is that, so like whenever you're playing on PC, you obviously have mouse and keyboard, so you can click through things, and just the general clicking thing kind of works well with Civ 6, considering just how you have to move everything in the game, or what you have to interact with in the game. So a mouse is a very nice way to control Civ, just considering the style of game that it is. Joysticks and buttons, though, that's a little bit less intuitive, considering just the general menu style and the top-down thing and selecting units and moving them. So I really hope that they find a way to make the controls very smooth, because if the controls are very clunky and it's very hard to navigate, like, through all your units and through all your stuff, then that could really ruin the experience. So I really hope that they do find a way to make the controls as smooth as they can. I believe that the Switch does have a touchscreen. I don't actually know. I own a Nintendo Switch, but I don't think I've ever used the touchscreen, but if I remember correctly, it does indeed have a touchscreen, so I would like to see that as an option, but I really hope it's also not necessary to play the game. And the last thing here is that I would just like to see all the content of the PC version. So even if they do split up, you know, like the DLC leaders and Rise and Fall to be DLC content that you have to pay for, I would like to see it incorporated into the game in some way. And if I have to pay for it, you know, well, I'll probably begrudgingly pay for it. But but I just hope that it is in the game to have that option to play with pretty much the exact same version of the PC. So that way, all of your skills and all of your strategies that you have on the PC version, you can transfer over to the Switch version as well. So that's just some stuff on the Nintendo Switch version of Civilization 6. I will make sure I keep you all updated if I happen to hear any more information. I'm probably going to buy the Switch version just so that way I can put out a review of it and let you know if it's worth buying or not, so be looking out for that whenever it comes out. But thank you everyone for watching. I have been the Saxy Gamer. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you're looking for more Civilization 6 content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.